Kentucky University received a $100,000 gift today. That gift is to support veterans and their family members who want to pursue a college degree.
WKYT's Mariah Congito was at the university as they accepted the money that will be put towards a scholarship fund for generations to come. It is our top story at 4:30.
EKU President David McFadden says nearly 1,800 veterans or veteran family members are a part of the EKU community. He expects this scholarship to be a popular one and will help more people have an opportunity to go to college.
This is going to be transformational, an endowed scholarship that will last forever.
Eastern Kentucky University President David McFadden says the university is known for what they can offer veterans and their families. In fact, they rank #1 for best for vets in Kentucky.
We continue to be leading in our commissioning of those second lieutenants who are graduating from our program. There's just a deep history in Kentucky at Eastern Kentucky University of service to our country.
For 17 years, Bechtel Parsons has supported the university's Office of Military and Veterans Affairs.
We have a tremendous amount of support for veterans and their families. Many of us within the industry are veterans.
You might recognize the name because Bechtel led the team that destroyed the chemical weapon stockpile at the Bluegrass Army Depot.
Normally, when we're within a community, what we leave behind is something very visible.
This time, they're leaving behind something you can't necessarily see. A $100,000 donation to be put toward a scholarship fund to help those who've helped us have the opportunity to get an education.
Many of the folks that make the decision to become someone that serves their country wants to, in many cases, continue to serve their country in a variety of different ways, and the educational facilities helps them grow.
There are a lot of students who are coming here. They're bringing, obviously, the GI Bill, those federal benefits, but there's still those gaps that need to be filled, and this scholarship's going to allow us to do that.
McFadden says they hope to have the scholarship available this fall. If not, it will be available for the award cycle next fall. In Richmond, Mariah Congito, WKYT.